If you're like me, then you probably have a ton of old school car parts laying around that you may have taken off your car when you've been modifying it and things like that, and you're running out of storage. My garage is full of stuff and I needed some space to put some other things. So I picked up a Fleximounts GL1 garage ceiling storage lift, and I'm gonna show you guys what comes in the box, how to install it, and give you my overall impressions of it after we get it put in. So let's jump into the DIY. Okay, so let me give you a quick tour of my garage just so you can kind of see what I'm working with. I do have a large garage. I'm blessed to have a very large garage, but I use it not only for car things, but I also use it for storing my lawnmower, storing all my decorations that I put out in the yard during Halloween and Christmas. So real quick, we'll flip the camera around. You can see just a pile of stuff here. I gotta clean up some trash, that is what it is, but I got my lawnmower, kids Jeep Power Wheels. We got our little gym workout system here that we put up recently. Then I've got, you know, some storage racks, my workbench, more storage racks over there. Got this whole area, once again, chock full of stuff. I really need to clean it up. But you can see I've put up a lot of extra storage and it's all full. Now I do have an attic to my garage, which is nice, but there's certain things that don't fit through that door that are just really a pain in the butt to get up and down out of the garage. So I've got the GL1 from Fleximounts, and it is a 4-foot by 4-foot storage rack that will be mounting to the ceiling, I think right about there. And that'll allow me to either move some stuff that I don't use except for like once a year, such as Halloween decorations that are taking up other like rack storage that I would really like to be able to use, and just free up some space so that I can help keep my garage organized. So I'm gonna get the box here open and I'm gonna show you what's inside of it. We'll go over the directions, figure out the best place to mount it, and see what it takes to get it up there. So hopefully this is a one-man job, because if not, it's gonna suck. But I'm gonna figure it out. So who is Fleximount? You might have heard of them before, and you might have seen some of the products, didn't realize who they were, but they are a United States-based company. They offer effortless and convenient storage options and organization options for your garage. Their best sellers are their garage racks, and you can see everything on their Amazon store. They got really high ratings on Amazon. You can check it out with the link in the description of the pinned comment below. This system in itself holds up to 300 pounds. It's got a dual rope design with a pressure rivet system, so it's a very safe system. I haven't actually read any reviews of anybody having issues of it falling on its own or anything like that. So I think it's a product that you can really trust to store, you know, seasonal items, heavy things that you just want up and out of the way that you don't have to access too often. So anyways, we're gonna jump into the DIY and get this up here, get it installed and show you guys how this thing works. And hopefully you guys like it. I'll let you know what I think of the product at the end. All right, the first thing you want to do before you even open the box, or even before you order this thing, is make sure that your ceiling is designed where you can actually mount it. So you need to get up on a ladder, and you're gonna need to get it up to the ceiling. If you have a finished garage with a roof, like with drywall, you're gonna need a stud finder. Find the center of your studs, and from the beginning stud to the end of the stud, where you're gonna be mounting the two sets of brackets, you wanna make sure that you have 48 inches on center. My ceiling is 16-inch studs, so I've got a perfectly set up ceiling, and as you can tell, I don't have a finished ceiling, so it's really easy for me to find the actual center of my studs. Now I will say that when you open the box, there is going to be a template, a cardboard cutout template that's gonna make it a lot easier for you guys with finished ceilings to be able to install this. But we're gonna go ahead and open up the box, and I'll show you the contents and how it looks when you get it all open. Here we are with the lid to the box off. I've only removed the instruction manual from it, hadn't messed with anything else. The box weighs a total of about 65 and a half, 66 pounds. So a little bit heavy. You might want someone to help you maneuver this around. And this entire installation job will probably be easier with a second set of hands, but I'm gonna do it by myself. We'll see how it goes. In any case, I'm gonna start pulling stuff out of here and getting everything set out on the garage floor so it's easier for me to manage and go through. We're gonna double check to make sure all the parts are actually in there, and we'll get started on actually getting this thing mounted to the ceiling. So I've laid the entire mount system out on the floor exactly how I want it to go on my ceiling. So if you look up here, we've got these two mounts here, and you can see they've got little pulleys on them. That's what these wires are going to go through, the wire ropes are going to go through, which allow it to go up and down. You have the installation template in the middle. We haven't unfolded that yet. You've got the crossbar. This is what actually rolls up and down to let it go up and down. And then these right here are the mounts that will go to the ceiling. Those mounts will get drilled into the stud, and then the actual system will lock into those. Now over here, this is the handle for manual operation of lowering and raising the system, and you've got the little crank handle. You are also able to attach a drill to the end to do that. We'll get to that later. These two supports are for the actual rack that goes up and down. So we got those off to the side. We left that in there for now. We go to the workbench. We got all the hardware that's included. You'll see there's no tools, no drill bits. We are gonna need some drill bits, and I'll show you what I'm gonna use here in a little bit. But you've got that, and it comes with the tape. This is for that template. But yeah, we've got that. Here is our manual, got it open already. So yeah, it comes with pretty much everything you're gonna need to do this. It seems like it's gonna be relatively simple to install. I say that now, we'll see how it goes as I start trying to climb up on the ladder and do all this by myself. I think I will use the template just to make my life a little bit easier, make sure I get all of the mounting, pilot holes correct when it comes to putting stuff up on the stud. But yeah, I'm gonna go and unfold the installation template, figure out my plan of attack here, and I'll show you what I do. I tried to use the template, as you can see here, and it didn't work out too well for me. One, my template was damaged coming out of the box. I guess it got thrown over on end to end and caused some issues, and I tried to tape it up. But the bigger problem was, since I don't have a finished ceiling, I couldn't just tape it off everywhere. I only have the studs, and so it didn't really work. When it comes to trying to tape this thing off, it would sag. So I'm gonna have to do it the old school way using math, which math isn't my biggest forte, but I'll figure it out. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the brackets. I've got the actual pulley brackets, and then I've got these. I'm just gonna start with one. I'm gonna start with one of the brackets that holds the actual bar itself. I'm gonna get it up there. I'm gonna measure how far off the center beam it is and get it lined up in the center of the stud. And once I do that, that's how I'm gonna figure out how to place all the other ones, because the other one needs to be 48 inches back on center. Same thing with the other side, it needs to be perfectly lined up. So I'll measure it off the center beam, put it in there, and then measure 48 inches back, and I should have a nice squared up set of brackets up there that I can go ahead and install the rest of this. For those of you that do end up using the actual template, these squares that are cut out all the way around, they are designed to center up on your stud. So they're the perfect width of an actual stud. That way, once you find the center, you mark that center line, you can center that center line with those cutouts and get a nice accurate squared setup for your template. So I didn't think I was gonna be able to use the template, but what I did was I just cut the ends off of each piece, and then I put those up onto the studs. That way it does help me, because then I only have to measure once. And so what I did was I brought it and I measured it out to make sure I had enough length from one end to the other here. And so I know that the end of that cardboard is sitting at 18.5 inches off the center I-beam here. So I know, exactly how to square up the other piece of the template on the other stud. And I went in there, and those cutouts made it really easy to find the center of the stud and get them pilot holes marked, drilled, and I got those installed. So now I got to come to the other side. I actually have to adjust that one. Something else that I didn't realize when I first started putting stuff up that you need to be aware of, on the template, the brackets with the pulleys actually sit closer in than the brackets that that one's installed incorrectly. I have to push that one out a little bit, but those are further in than the other brackets. Those are going to be wider out, so you really do need to use the template. So if you don't have a finished ceiling and you have something like mine, cut off each end of the template and just tape it to the stud, and that's going to help you a lot. So you only have to measure once, line it up, get it taped up, mark your holes, pilot drill them, and then screw in the bracket. So I'll get a time lapse of me doing this other end here so that you can see kind of how it's done, and we'll go from there. So that wasn't too bad. We got them all mounted up to the studs. They're spaced appropriately, and we've tightened all of them down. So the next step in this procedure is actually going to be hanging the wire rope and getting everything mounted up between the brackets so that we can actually start using this. So I'm going to just run through the instruction manual, make sure I'm really, sure of what I need to do next, and I'll show you guys what the next step is. I want to show you something before we get it up on the ladder, and I might, not be able to talk as well. So this is how the bar comes, and you can see the motor over here on this end, and the motor has to align a certain way, so pay attention to your instruction manual. This is going to go up, but this isn't the full length. When you get it up there, you're supposed to put this into one of the brackets, and then you pull the bar apart, and on each end, there are these holes that need to be exposed. You can see those there. You have to pull them apart to where those holes are exposed in order to get that bracket attached to that end of the bar. So I'm going to go ahead and close it up because that's going to make it a lot easier to maneuver up there. We're going to get it up there, get it attached, and start to spread this thing out and get it locked in. Once it is in, we have some different bolts that are going to go in to secure it into the bracket that's up on the ceiling and get this thing secured to the ceiling. So now I'm sure this part would be a lot easier if you had a second person on another ladder to help support this, but I don't, so it is what it is. So yeah, that goes in pretty easily there. So we're gonna hold on this bar, stretch it out, and then I'm going to get this lined up correctly. Push it out all the way. So that wasn't too bad to do by myself. We'll see how it goes when it comes time to tighten this stuff down, but right now that looks like it's incorrectly. I want to give a quick rundown of the last bit of hardware we have and what we're going to do. So we just got everything mounted, like the directions say, into the brackets. So now we have to secure that bar into the brackets. And how do we do that? So you can see the directions over here, and it tells you what to do. But ultimately what we're going to do is we're going to put a couple pieces or a couple bolts through this center bar so that the bar can't slide anymore. We're going to be using these long bolts for that. And you can see there's some locking nuts there on the other end. And they give you the Allen keys you need. So they give you an Allen key for the top here. They give you an Allen key for the top, and they give you one to go through this. This is, you know, basically your socket wrench. You could use a legitimate socket if you have one, which is what I'll probably do, but they do give you the tools to do this. So we're gonna do that first, and then you have these 4 bolts, and those 4 bolts are going to attach the actual piece that slid into the bracket. Those are gonna go in, one on each side, on each end, and secure it in there. So that's what I'm gonna do next. All right, so let's find the holes. There's one there. There's one there. So just so you know, I had to slide this bar internally in this thing here. So just as a heads up, you might have to do that as well. Now the socket size for these locking nuts is 13 millimeter. So we're gonna get that started on there. We've got our hex head for the back, and then we'll tighten this up. Now you don't have to go crazy tight on this, just enough to stop this bar from moving. Now we'll do the other side. I would not use power tools on this because you honestly just don't need to. All right, there we go, we got that. And now I'm gonna have to slide my ladder from side to side to get these other bolts connected. So these are 2 on each side, and there's a nice cutout on each bracket to get in there. It's not like you have to hunt the hole down. It gives you plenty of room to find it. All right, so this is pretty self-explanatory. Just thread these into each one of these bolts. And you don't need to see me do the other 3, but yeah, that's about it there. I'm gonna go ahead and knock that out, and we'll move on to the next step. All right, as you can see, I've removed the plastic coverings over each of the rolls of the rope wire. And if you come down here, you can see that once they come down, and they do have a couple zip ties holding them together. Once you clip those, you can see one hangs down, you know, about 3/4 of the way down to the floor, and then you get one that comes all the way down. So you have a shorter version or a shorter set and a longer set. What we're about to do is we're going to take each of the longer sets and we're going to bring those back and pass them through the pulley system of the other brackets. Now it's really important when we do this that we make sure these don't get tangled with the other sets of wire rope. So we got these nice and clear. So we're going to keep those separated, walk those back, feed them through and let them hang down. We'll do that on the other side as well. All right, we got the long wires. We're making sure they're not tangled. We're just going to feed that through right there. Pull it through. Nothing's tangled. All right, that's one side done. And move over here to the other side. Once again, make sure these do not get tangled. Looking good there. There we go. And once I got them pulled through, I want to make sure that they're not passed over each other to the wrong side as well. I don't know if that makes a big difference, but I figure why not? And there we go. As you can see, we got them all hanging down here, and that's what the actual tray is going to connect to. They go up and split on that bar, but come together on the pulleys over here. So I guess the next step is probably going to be assembling the actual tray and getting it connected. We got the grid out of the box and it's folded in there. You can see that as you pick it up, it has the ability to fold and lock. But when you lay it out, you've got these stickers on each side and it says, this side of wire deck should face upward. So that's a nice little helper there to know how you need it oriented. I probably should have just left this on there. Hopefully I don't get confused after this. But we got that. We need to grab these support arms over here and connect them to the grid. I'll show you what I do. So we've got the supports, and the way you want to make sure this is lined up, you've got this double bar where the actual grid folds, and you want it perpendicular to that. Additionally, you see these two big holes. You want those equally distributed on each end of the grid. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this grid and just set it right on top of this bar. Additionally, you have labels on the outside of the bar, and you want those on the outside here to where you can read them and they're right side up. And what we're going to do is take these little J hooks. They're going to go down over the wire and through the holes on all three of these. And then you're going to have these nuts here. And what we're going to do is loosely first get those tightened on. And those are 10mm nuts, just so everybody knows. I'm only going to do this by hand first, just to get them started. And we're going to go do the other side. Gotta make sure we get this aligned here. There we go. Again, just hand tight for now. And we're gonna go do that on both sides, and then we will tighten them all the way down and secure it. One thing that I found when I went to go tighten the J-hooks down is that it kind of bends the bar there. You can see it makes that lift up. I'm going to use some zip ties to pull those down and just pull that whole thing down throughout the middle, because it did it on both sides and I don't want to loosen them up just so they lay flat. So I'm going to knock that out just as a little bit of extra security on the grid. Now it's time to actually mount the grid to your wires. So you've got your actual eye hook that comes down from the rope wire, and I've got my grid up on my wheelbarrow to try and help me get some elevation on it. And what we're going to do is we're going to pass this through this hole. We're going to put a single washer on, and then we're going to put two 12mm or 13mm nuts on there. So I've got my washer and my first nut ready. I've got this nifty little thing to help hold stuff. And we're going to just lift it up, push this through, make sure these wires are not tangled at all. We've got the washer on. We're going to take, and they're lock washers or lock nuts as well. We're going to get this first one on and just get it started. And then tighten it up. So I'm going to go around and do this on both, or on all four corners. Once you get it, we'll lock down to where all the way up to the top. You can put that second locking nut on there and really secure it on there. So I'm going to go knock this out and I'll show you the end result. And we are hanging. Check it out. Everything is completely secured. We got some weight on there. Looking really good, nice and level, didn't have to adjust anything. Keep in mind this holds up to 300 pounds. I would not advise you try and lift any person with this, but it looks great. So now we gotta learn how to raise it up. I'm gonna go ahead and show you the two methods of doing that next. So here we go. So we've got the actual handle for the entire lift here, and you can use it in one of two ways. One, they give you this nifty little rotating assembly that you can put on the bottom, and it's got 3 different attachment points, so you can put it here, here, or here. You know, just figure out which one feels the best for you. Once you slide it on the end there, they actually have a bolt that you can thread through there and tighten it on and leave it there. I'm actually gonna do the other way, which is Using a drill, you can actually attach a drill to the bottom of this and you can raise and lower with the drill. So I'll show you how to do that in a bit. You do counterclockwise to raise the lift and you go clockwise to lower the lift. But we got to do one thing before we actually start using it. What we're looking right now is the motor assembly. That's the assembly that actually controls everything and where we're going to be attaching our handle. But you see that black piece right there? There should be an arrow pointing to it. That is a safety latch that stops it from going up or down. And so the directions say to put your handle in, grab it, and pull it out. So now that safety stop there is out of the way. And now we can put our handle in here to raise and lower the device. All right, this is the moment of truth. I have not raised it yet. This is exactly how it sits since I've installed everything. So I'm gonna go ahead and get my drill on here. I'm gonna close it on. All right, so I think it said counterclockwise to raise it. So we're gonna go really slow here. Oh, nope, counterclockwise to lower it, clockwise to raise it. So here we go. I'm not gonna lie, that's one of the coolest things I've ever gotten for my garage. That is super sweet. Check that out. That was really, really simple. Just took a few seconds to raise it up there. Had no issues with wires binding or anything like that. Nice and secure, and it's up and out of the way. This is gonna help me a lot in terms of keeping stuff stored up and out of the way and helping me keep my garage a lot cleaner. Something else to be aware of when it comes to the handle, you can actually unscrew this here and you can adjust the length of this metal piece to what you need. I don't plan on leaving mine in the contraption. I'm probably gonna take it off and hang it somewhere on a wall and only use it when I need it. But if you wanna adjust it, it is adjustable. Okay, so we are complete. We got it up and out of the way. They're mounted on the ceiling. It was really simple to get that thing raised to the top using the drill feature. I really like that. That was very smart. It's very stable. It didn't sway back and forth or anything like that. That dual rope design is really nice in terms of keeping that stable. I really like this, and right now, you know, it's February, we're about to get into spring. This is a great thing for you guys to pick up for spring cleaning and organization in your garage since race season's coming around. Everybody is gonna need to take off those snow wheels, put those away. This would be a really good thing for that. But if you need to find out more information on them, you want to see what they offer, you can check out the pinned comment in the video in the description. We're gonna have a bunch of links down there for you guys. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. Shout out to Fleximounts for sending this over to the garage for us to get installed and show you guys. Maybe we'll have some more products from them in the future for you guys to check out. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments below, and I'll see you on the next DIY video.